Kia ora, this is my video on natural selection. We're going to use the little colour blocks we've been using up until now again. So this is our phenotypes and this is the phenotype of colour. So we've got yellow, orange, green and red. Of course those phenotypes have the alleles that are in the genes that create the phenotype. But natural selection works on phenotype and it's about the selection of the fittest, and in biology being fit means to be able to survive, to not be eaten, to be able to get more food, eat yourself, so that you are strong enough to then live long enough and be able to have offspring and be able to feed those offspring if that's what your species does, and go on and have offspring that will are likely to carry your alleles and therefore your phenotype into subsequent generations, which is evolution. So along with our coloured blocks, we also have a population of some birds that happen to be made out of wire, done by one of my daughters for an art project a long time ago. So here's our bird population as well, and they're flying around and they eat their colour blocks. Our colour blocks are just eating, trying to mate and have offspring, and the birds are coming along and they're also trying to eat and have offspring, but they eat the blocks. Okay, so that's our scenario in this situation. There'll be other phenotypes these blocks have. Some might be bigger than others, some might be smaller, some might have more fur or less fur, but we're just going to look at colour for the phenotype for this demonstration. So now we're going to put our blocks in an environment where there's a certain background colour, and so colour is important because it's a camouflage for our blocks. So we're going to have an orange environment that they're living in at this point in time. And you can see in the orange environment that being an orange block or even possibly a red block is quite a good colour to be. Yellow and green do stand out rather a lot. So when our birds get hungry and they come along, it's going to be very easy for them to see the yellow and therefore eat it. So that one's now dead, can't pass on any more alleles. This phenotype of yellow is also easy to see. Along comes another bird and it can see the green and the other green. Maybe they can eat some of the red as well, but they're unlikely to eat the orange because they can't see them very easily. So you can see those other ones are now dead. They can't pass on their genes to the next generation, but our red one could survive and pass on some of the red phenotype, and the orange one can pass on the orange phenotype. And of course, because these phenotypes are successful, they're going to pass on the alleles or the genotype that codes for that phenotype to the next generation. So in this scenario, these are the fit or the successful individuals that can pass on their genes to the next generation, and they code for that successful phenotype, and that's why it's being able to be passed on in natural selection. What if, though, we have a red background? In our red background scenario, the red phenotype is going to be the most successful one, less likely to be eaten by the birds, whereas, again, the yellow is quite obvious, and so is the green, orange a bit as well. And so in this scenario, because the environment's changed, so does what counts as successful in terms of phenotype will change as well. So sometimes the environment will change and different things will be more successful in terms of natural selection. So here, red's very successful. They're likely to survive. They're likely to go on and have offspring. So we're going to get more and more of the red alleles, or the alleles that code for red, passed on, maybe some of the orange. And so the allele frequency, that is the allele for the red phenotype, will become more and more frequent in that gene pool. And so that's really how natural selection works. You have variation in the population to start with. So they're all born with different things. Some of those will be more successful phenotypes than others. In this case, the red will be very successful. The orange maybe slightly less so. Yellow and green not successful. Yellow and green don't get to survive, or less likely to survive, less likely to pass on their alleles which code for yellow and green, whereas red and perhaps orange phenotype is a lot more successful. They go on and breed, have more offspring. Those offspring, of course, carry the genetic material that they got from their parents, and so on and so forth. And that's how natural selection works. Okay, see you next time. Bye.